and learn it very quickly. And there was something really rewarding in that. Now, I have no way of knowing whether they actually used it later or forgot it. And consequently, I think the most substantive sense of accomplishment I came away with was individuals that I came to know. I think of the Peace Corps as a collective, and I just imagine a lot more people in the United States who know a distant country, usually a third world country, and know the language and have a sense of how it fits into a global network. And I think of that as somehow being an impact on our culture, and that is in some way just as important as the impact that you have on the culture that's invited you in.
As far as my accomplishments go, going in, I really didn't know exactly what I wanted to accomplish. I wasn't one of those that was like, I was going to go save the world. I didn't want to get my hopes up for something like that and then get there and realize, oh, this is no way this is going to happen. Probably the biggest accomplishment, not just of myself, but of the other volunteers that I served with. They weren't related specifically to our project sector goals. Like, I was an agriculture volunteer. There were other health volunteers, education volunteers. My biggest accomplishment probably is becoming accepted in my village as one of them, as one of the host country nationals that I was living with in my village. By being forced to learn the local language and sit down and talk with people every day. I mean, it's a big challenge to just go in and nobody speaks English, so the only thing I could speak was Hausa with my villagers, and so I had to force myself to sit down with them every day and learn that, and learn their way of life, their customs, their culture. Islam plays a big role in Niger, and having respect for that is a big thing for them. So as my time there, as it gradually went on, I felt more and more comfortable, and my villagers were more and more comfortable with me, and I felt that I was accepted as one of them in the village, and that allowed me later in my service to have more meaningful work as far as my agriculture work went.
I maybe could add a little footnote that I was also in an Islamic community, and the great surprise to me was to discover human universals, that people who I'd been taught to feel would be fundamentally different from me were so similar with the same sort of goals, and that was a very big and useful kind of discovery.
Why don't we follow up with that and ask the question, what do you feel you've learned from the Peace Corps? What are your biggest lessons that you took from it?
I think I concur with that, Michael, about this, some kind of a humanity or universal sameness. The religion of the place we were in, I would characterize as superstitious atheism. Icons everywhere, and nobody really did anything about it, or at least that I could see on the surface. And there was a good mix. There were some mosques, and right next door to it was an Orthodox church, and people just sort of went around their daily business. And, well, I might add, Joseph Stalin was from the village where I lived, and there were big statues of him there. Everyone who lived there still thought he was a good guy. So we had a little bit of a learning curve to deal with that, and I learned quite a bit from that, that even though, this person that we learned in our history texts was responsible for, genocide and terrorism and all this sort of thing, was still viewed as a very fatherly, strong figure. And I came to appreciate that, and sure, that may be what was necessary to keep that country together and running. Yeah.
One of the big things I learned was that the third world is not different. It's the United States that's different. We're the ones that are the oddballs. And you go to a continent like South America, which has tremendous language diversity, but tremendous variance in standards of living, from people who live on $50 a year to super ultra wealthy. It's quite an eye-opener. And I think the United States makes a mistake thinking that we are it and we set the standard. In fact, we're the ones that are the oddballs, for good and bad. So I learned that, and of course no one's mentioned the fact that Peace Corps trains you in a new language, and that is a gift. In 3 months you have to be reasonably fluent because you're dropped off into the middle of nowhere, really, and you don't just live there, you have to do your job. So now, many years later, I can still, more or less hold my own in Spanish, and I think that was a great gift event to me. So I learned a language, and I also learned that these other cultures are tremendously rich in diversity and tremendously enriching to your own life if you can manage to get there. I would say jump and do it.